We've all heard the story. When Lord Ram's army reached the ocean on its way to Lanka, two vanaras, Nal and Neel, had a remarkable power. Whatever stones they threw into the water would float, and because of them, Ram's army was able to build the legendary bridge to Lanka. But here's the mystery. Is this actually what Valmiki Ramayana says? Because when we go back to the original epic, we discover something fascinating. The bridge is certainly there. Nal is certainly there, Neel is certainly there, but the famous story of Nal and Neel making stones float is not the story Valmiki tells. So what really happened? After reaching the seashore, Ram faces an enormous problem. Lanka lies across the ocean and his vast Vanar army has no way to cross. Ram appeals to the ocean god Varun. But when the ocean does not respond, Ram becomes furious and prepares to use his divine weapon against it. And then Varun appears before Ram. He explains that the ocean cannot simply abandon its natural nature. But there is another possibility. A bridge can be constructed across the sea. And then Varun reveals something extraordinary. He points to a Vanar named Nal. According to Yuddha, Sarg 22, Nal is the son of Vishvakarma, the divine architect. Varun tells Ram that Nal possesses abilities comparable to his father and is capable of constructing the bridge. Nal then steps forward and confirms what Varun has said. He explains that Vishvakarma had granted a boon to his mother and that Nal was born as Vishvakarma's son. Nal says something particularly interesting. He had not previously spoken about his abilities because he did not consider it appropriate to boast about his qualities without being asked. But now the time has come. Nal declares,
I am capable of constructing a bridge across the ocean.
And Ram gives the command. The construction begins. Now comes the part that is often simplified in popular retellings. Valmiki does not describe Nal and Neel simply throwing magical stones into the water. Instead, Ram's entire Vanar army participates. Thousands of Vanars rush into the forests. They bring enormous trees, logs, rocks, and stones resembling mountains. Some Vanars carry materials, others measure the bridge, others arrange and fasten the construction. Nal directs the work. Strings kept the alignment, an immense organized engineering effort. And then Valmiki gives us something remarkable. The construction progresses over 5 days. The text describes 14 yojan on the first day, 20 on the second, 21 on the third, 22 on the fourth, and 23 on the fifth. Together these measurements total 100 yojan. The bridge is described as 10 yojan wide. Now we come to Neel. Neel is certainly an important Vanar warrior and army commander. In Yuddha, Sarg 26, Ravan's spy Saran identifies Neel and Nal among the prominent leaders of Ram's army, and Nal is specifically described there as the creator of the bridge. So while later tradition closely connects Nal and Neel with the bridge, Valmiki's account gives Nal the specific architectural role. And now, the question we started with, did Nal and Neel make stones float? If we are speaking specifically about the Valmiki Ramayana, we need to be careful. The famous floating stone story is not described in the bridge building episode of Yuddha, Sarga 22. Valmiki describes Vanars bringing trees and rocks and placing them into the ocean as part of the construction. He identifies Nal as Vishvakarma's son and gives him responsibility for building the bridge. The familiar story of Nal and Neel causing stones to float belongs to later Ramayana traditions and popular retellings, not to this particular account in Valmiki's epic, and that distinction matters. A later traditional story can be meaningful and beloved, but when we say, according to Valmiki's Ramayana, we should tell what Valmiki actually wrote. Finally, Valmiki gives us a very clear statement. He says that Nal, the strong and illustrious son of Vishvakarma, built the bridge across the sea as his father would have built it. The completed bridge shines across the ocean like a pathway of stars across the sky. So perhaps the real story of Nal and Neel is even more fascinating than the version many of us grew up hearing. It isn't simply a story about two Vanars with magical stones. It is a story about Nal, the son of Vishvakarma, leading an enormous collective effort, with thousands of Vanars bringing the materials, measuring, building, and creating a passage across an ocean that seemed impossible to cross. And Neel, he remains one of the important warriors and commanders of Rama's army. So the next time you hear Nal and Neel made the stones float, remember that there is another story hiding behind the popular one, the story that Valmiki actually recorded. And sometimes the original story is even more astonishing than the legend that came later. What do you think? Do you find the traditional floating stone story more fascinating? Or Valmiki's account of Nal, son of Vishvakarma, constructing the Great Bridge? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe to Eternal Wisdom of Bharatvarsh, where we go beyond the popular stories and discover what the ancient texts actually say.